friends. Happy Monday. Hopefully you had a good one. Mine was fine. It was a chill Monday, Nothing too crazy. Nothing too all over the place. I just got home a few minutes ago. I stacked myself up with some tasks for after work, so didn't get home till just about now. But I wanted to talk about The Last of Us Episode 3. If you've seen it, you probably know why I want to talk about it. If you haven't seen it, probably don't watch this unless you want to. Yeah. Gonna be spoiling it basically entirely. I wrote a review of it last night, and I wanted to read that to you as my little thing to talk about it and everything. So I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I spoil most of it. It's mostly talking about the sort of grander things of it, but yeah, it was a really, really, really good episode. Like, I can't even begin to... The thing is that, it was just like the part of the story that it came from was there was none of that. And we didn't get to see, as a game player, you don't get to see any of that happen. But in the show, there's so much more that they do. So now I will read you the review that I wrote last night, but I haven't edited it at all. So bear with me, and etc., etc. All right. So it reads: the episode managed to say so much in an otherwise nominal part of the story, or at least that's what the game showed players. And so within the cinematographically encapsulated storyline that is being brought to life in real life instead of in game, allows more space to express oneself. And they chose to express it like that. While yes, the game did go so far as to say the character being portrayed did have a gay lover, the game never got the chance to see any of that relationship. So instead, within the breadth of an hour, they showed one of, from start to finish, the most beautiful gay relationships in likely the history of television. They didn't have to. The source material didn't even come close to necessitating this choice. But yet they did anyway. And therein lies the real beauty of it all. They spent the time and energy to develop a new story within the story to spend a majority of an episode on. The results? A staggeringly beautiful depiction of love surviving even deep within the throes of a... Some things I feel worth noting. There are inherent overarching motifs of the world returning to a more primal state. And one of the ways they not so literally express that is with sexual fluidity being more prevalent within the emptier slate of existence. The script goes so far as to paint a scene between the stereotypical doomsday prepper lead boy scout kind of man we've come to understand over the course of a handful of minutes, and another man, a complete stranger to us. The stranger asks if he's ever done this before, and our lead boy scout, aka Ron Swanson, responds, damn near quivering, that he hasn't. Or rather that he only has with a girl, just once. Therein lies the literal confirmation that he was at least slightly open beforehand or became quickly open in the presence of the first human he's laid eyes on in 4 years. And that person, that stranger, happened to be kind and genuine. When I was first getting to this portion of literal homoerotic content being confirmed before my eyes, I began waiting for the cut. The romance continued to unfold, and I continued to wait. I waited for the swift departure from this beautifully natural sequence of two lovers, cut back to the main characters, what's actually going on that's important. Instead, the show stayed with them, turn after turn. Each one becomes a softer bed within the story to lie upon, and novel and shock, and love and amazement and joy of this true romance being unfolded in front of you. Even more so, a gay relationship being depicted within a video game in the first place. Video games, while having shifted quite a bit over the years, have always been a bro space. This storyline within the game was subverting expectations even before depicting this on screen was a question. This episode was anti-queerbait. This was the opposite. This was queer depiction in one of its truest forms yet. They hardly promoted the queer storyline, unless you happen to be someone who knows the game and can connect the dots. I was not one of them. I had no clue going into it that this would be anywhere near the episode I saw within the preview last week. I am absolutely so grateful for everything this episode was. While a bit grandiose, this is, at the least, a mini victory for queer representation everywhere. I am eager to see space for us continue to be claimed. That's it. As I was reading it, I was like, I felt like I wanted to be reading more about the previous parts before I jumped into the video games being a bro space part, but I think I was just reaching the end of my rope as far as words. But yeah, it was very good. It was very good. It was very good. I mean, even though, yes, it's a depressing story and sad at the end because death, but, they got to spend their lives together. Even though, yeah, I mean, some, they didn't meet until their 40s or whatever age they were. Yeah, they got to spend their lives together. And they changed the story of the game to have them both die on their own terms together. And there's a lot of romantic stuff there. I mean, in a very theatrical way, I guess, like Romeo and Juliet sort of level of theatricality. But my God, Paul and I were just watching it last night, and we were just crying. Him more than me, because I'm a hard nut to crack, but I was freaking out the entire fucking time. Literally, it's so hard to, I didn't know that there was a gay character in the game, or at least a gay side character. I mean, I know Ellie's gay at some point, I think. I don't know when that's revealed or when that's talked about, or if it's just the second game that gets talked upon. But yeah, when it was just first starting and nothing was really confirmed yet, anything was gonna happen or it was gonna go that way at all. They were just being friendly, and then all of a sudden it was oh my God, they're totally gonna kiss, and they did, and I was whoa. And I just assumed that that's where they were gonna kind of end it or whatever, and then just cut back to the main part of the story, just leave it as this little sort of cute tidbit. But nope, we get to see all of it. I mean, yeah, there's some big time jumps and there's a lot of space in between where the real nuts and bolts of the relationship start to sort of come together, I suppose. But you get to see a lot of that. You get to see a lot of those moments in the 20 years they spend together, something around there, 15 years. Still, I mean, shit, bro. That is just too fucking good. It's too pure for this world. So, if you haven't watched Last of Us yet, why are you watching this, for one? And two, go watch it. Go watch it. Because it is really fucking good. Every episode, I'm waiting for the storyline to drone on, and it's just not doing it. It's just not happening. I don't know. We'll see. We're only on episode 3, so who knows? Oh my God, it's a 50% chance of rain tomorrow? How exciting. I mean, partially, because I'll be inside all day. Staring at a beige wall with no windows. I'm not bitter. You're bitter. Moving on to miscellaneous, because obviously I'm done with it now. Done with the topic. We're already talking about rain. Yeah, I'm very shaken still. Very shaken indeed about that episode last night. It was just too good. It was too good for me. It's too good to me, I mean, I know I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but damn, bro. I just can't can't handle it. It just is so good. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed the my little written review about it. I also wrote this other weird thing last night about content ingestion. I'll read it to you real quick just because it's weird and it's not quite so long, I don't think. Whatever, we'll see. So it reads, "It's interesting. Majority of the content I intentionally consume is educational or personal or poetic or visually inspiring. I've fallen into a bit of a rut within the self-help section of these endless YouTube aisles, but it's this massive mix. I hear these gurus suggesting things, and as I interpret them, I am recognizing some of this is like fundamentally a good idea. Yet, that is combated with the scientific and realistic nature of educational YouTube content, and the science side of Reddit says that not all good things work for everyone. That is also fundamental. There is a consistent reassurance that tells of everyone needing to find what works for them, and so when I'm considering the negative effects of consuming so much self-help and constantly trying to one-up myself content, I remind myself that I am on my own journey. I imagine it like as if each video I watched on YouTube were a piece of vegetable or fruit or really any food. I take a bite of it, seeing if the taste resonates with me or surprises me. I allow the flavor to settle between my taste buds, and then I spit out the mushy glob into a pile on the floor in front of me. And that pile resides within a circle full of other foods' respective piles of mushy glob. I collect all these past flavors into one big fucking mess that somehow gives me a canvas to work on top of. There's a level of digestion to the way I consume YouTube videos. There are pieces residing within me from over a decade ago. All this to say, I'm starting to really understand the point of that finding your own path mumbo jumbo. I liked that too. That was a fun little thing to write last night. Have you noticed I've just been sinking over the course of the video? The hydraulics? I guess the hydraulics of this chair are not so great anymore. But yeah, so I wrote some last night. Can check that off my goddamn fucking scorecard. I went to Costco, which I feel like should count as 2 points because it's like really irritating to go to Costco. But I'm only counting it as 1, so now we're only at 11 days of going to the grocery store. So, but I feel like it should count as 2 because, yeah. Yeah. I feel like there was other things I wanted to talk about. Oh, I sent out the video to my co-founders about the website and about my social media ideas and things like that. And I also suggested that we should start meeting at someone's house instead of Starbucks because we work together at work, and you know it's sorry, I'm fucking with loud things. It's a little difficult because I work at the computer, they work in production, so it's I go and chat with them and stuff, but it's not exactly quite as easy to get close with them or be real with them in a uninfluenced way, so really like the only places that I've hung out with them is either at work or at a Starbucks. So I suggested that we start meeting at someone's house instead because there's some barriers that, like I want to drop off. I mean, we got to get a little bit more personal as far as just relationship stuff goes for being in business together. I don't know. That one was the most nerve-wracking thing to bring up, but I needed to, so that's why I sandwiched it in with several other things that I put into video format. They're both older gentlemen, so I don't think they fully want to do the social media stuffs that I want to do, like, because I want to do like an intro video where each of us like sit down and like talk about, you know, who we are, what kind of art we make, why art is important to us, why we want to make this cooperative, blah blah blah, you know, just a fundamental introduction to who we are in the thing and what the thing's about, you know what I mean. But yeah, people don't tend to really like the idea of being on camera like at all. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I sent it out at like 5 to them and no response back yet, so we shall see. Got a meeting on Wednesday, so yeah, being vulnerable is hard. You know what I mean? Like, okay, being vulnerable to people for me has gotten easier because I've sort of forced myself into that, but it's also extremely based on environment. You know, like I can't exactly allow myself to be vulnerable if I feel like it's not a safe space. You know what I mean? And just given my general levels of social anxiety, like doing so at a Starbucks, it's not really a safe space exactly. So being vulnerable there is trickier. Same with being vulnerable at work because, you know, one, I'm just working. Two, it's like, okay, well, there's some level of distance that I should be keeping from my work and my personal life, I suppose. But, you know, at someone's house or even like just chilling somewhere much more casual, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure I'm a bit unique in this specific area because I'm sure other people could feel just fine being vulnerable in a Starbucks if strangers overheard you, I guess. Whereas I take problem with that, surprisingly enough. Although I'm not surprised at all. I don't know. So yeah, that's that. We'll see how that goes. I've got a slight list of to-dos to do tonight, and I just want to not do them. Just like, you know, I mean, I've been out and up and around and doing and acting and being and stuff all day. It's like what can't I just chill? I'm just gonna chill. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, what's that? I have stuff on my to-do list. Oh, that's fine. I'll just do it tomorrow. What was that? Oh, I said the same thing yesterday. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I was practicing that, by the way, in my head. So it didn't come out great, but it's funny. It's funny. I think that's it. I think that's all I got for you. I'm gonna try to motivate myself to go do some dishes, I think. Or maybe just laundry. Or maybe just cleaning the bathroom a little bit. Something. Oh, I also need to update my scorecard. I'm like days behind again on my scorecard. Ay. Every day that I'm behind on my scorecard, I lose a point on my scorecard for filling out the scorecard for that day. This whole gamifying your life thing is a little bit of a double-edged sword. So, in case you were curious, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good evening. And yeah. Bye-bye.